There we go.
All right, welcome everyone to our August Parks and Recreation Commission meeting, August 25th. So I'm calling it to order. Did everyone get a chance to look at the agenda?
Looks great to me.
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
All right, thank you. And our meeting minutes from July since, oh wait, we had our travel, didn't we have our travel?
Yeah, there were some minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Approval for the minutes from the July 28th meeting.
Yeah.
Make the motion to approve the minutes.
All in favor, say aye. Thank you. All right, see, do we have anyone on Zoom today?
Nope.
Nope, and we have only one person in the public. You have a comment, sir? Just stand up and introduce yourself and welcome.
Joe Weigel.
Yeah.
I got a problem with in Forest Ridge Park. I'd like to see one of two things happen. Either there's a gate that's locked every night, same as the bathrooms are. Or maybe the Parks Department can work with the police department to get regular patrols after dark. There's been several cars that come in after dark usually or just before. And of course, they leave litter, it's there every morning. But the big problem I've seen lately, the bathrooms locked, some of these cars spend the night there. And so twice in the last week or so, I've had to clean up feces in the playground, or near the playground area, behind the bathroom, over on the picnic table. And it's pretty disgusting. If it doesn't get picked up, kids are gonna get in it, maybe. It's kind of a problem. So I think either a gate or consistent patrol by the police department to pick them out. I assume the parks are closed at dusk,
Yeah.
so there's no reason why the police can't move them out. That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. All right, we have staff reports and updates. First one, bridging Bremerton info and request for volunteers.
But we're gonna wait. So Josh Farley will speak on that, and he was coming over on the
Okay.
ferry, so
So
when he gets
we'll
here.
move that
we'll-
back.
Yeah, we'll
Back there.
put him back
Okay.
on once we get to that point.
Okay.
Good.
All right, the new business. Forest Ridge Park, First Street parcel surplus proposal.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So first off, our agenda. Wanted to show some pictures if you haven't seen them.
Stuck in a slump.
Then before he took the leap of faith.
Yeah. I guess I wore the same thing last month. Do that.
You got an outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wanted to share some of the pictures. If you hadn't seen those pictures, I think they turned out really well. Colette was hoping that her head wouldn't have been so big, but I was like, oh, it looks great. Yeah, it looks like a selfie and a bunch of people behind you. No, it's good.
Nice. That was a nice day.
Okay, and Brett, you can see the slides, correct?
Yes, I can see them.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so as part of the tour that we took, the very last spot, we were obviously up at Forest Ridge Park. And so what we wanted to bring after getting some head nods from commission that yes, you wanted to have the discussion at this meeting was to look at surplusing a small portion of the park. So separate out a parcel on First Street. And as you can see on this, this is the outline for Forest Ridge here, which also includes this piece. Again, just to kind of recap, the conversation really started from a potential developer that's looking at the adjacent property for development and was looking for an easement for emergency access, and which could also change the type of use that they're looking at for that site. And so in evaluating the property, the type of use that we have now, the adjacent property here, which is formerly Renaissance High School, which is moving up to View Ridge. So they'll be taking up about half of the View Ridge school site. They seem to be the predominant user at lunchtime or breaks. They would be outside. We have a couple tables there, a garbage can, but really not much else. It's not really tied to or connected to the main part of the park. And so what we would be looking at doing is surplusing this, listing it for sale, and having bids come in, and we would probably set a minimum bid for the project, for the site. And then being able to work with council to have those funds go back into future development at Forest Ridge Park. Typically, we don't look to surplus property, because once it's gone, it's gone. But in evaluating this site, it's not a portion of the park that's really well utilized by the community, and isn't really tied into the rest of the park. Another benefit to the sale of this is it would put it, I know it's a small parcel, but it puts it back on the tax roll as well. So it would not be a city asset at that point. So I've also listed here the procedures that are listed within our code. So the Parks Board is being consulted. So we count last month having the conversation there and having a conversation here as working with the Parks Board, providing you all the details concerning the proposed sale. The Parks Board shall prepare an advisory report and submit it to City Council and the mayor, and that's definitely something that we as staff would be happy to work with you on. And what I would probably look for is, as part of this agenda item, maybe a motion for Kathy to work with staff to develop and prepare the advisory report to be presented to council and the mayor. So that would most likely happen at a study session before it would go to the public hearing. So with this, with a surplusing park property, it would require a minimum of 2 public hearings, so that would be at 2 separate meetings. And then council, maybe after the first, and Brett, correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe after the first, they could decide if at the second, if there's not a lot of response or any response, that maybe at the same meeting as the second hearing, they could vote on it, or it may have to go to a third meeting. So there would be a series of opportunities for the public to speak out on this potential sale of the property. So notes, if there is a proposed sale, if that's what we're looking at doing, the council would evaluate the report that's provided to them by the commission, and then develop findings and conclusions to support declaring this as surplus and selling the property. With that, a unanimous vote would need to take place of the council. And I believe that's part of the Parks Protection Act that went into place through a citizen vote, back, I think in the 70s sometime, would require any park parcel to be a full unanimous vote of the council. So in absence of that, if there wasn't a unanimous vote, if we wanted to move forward, it could go to the public for a vote. Which would mean obviously the cost of putting it on a ballot and that process. So that would be something, if we didn't get a full council, unanimous vote, we may want to bring it back and discuss and see what we want to do moving forward. If that's a process we want to seek out or not. So anything short of that, Brett, do you have anything you wanted to add or correct?
No, I just wanted to clarify for the commission will have to take a final approval vote on any advisory report before it's sent
Okay.
off. So
Okay, so what we would be looking at is maybe at this meeting, we get the commission, if the commission so chooses to, gives us the go-ahead to move forward, and then we would provide that report at the next meeting for your review.
right, I think that's typically how it goes.
Okay.
Has there been any talk about like how much money we think this parcel is worth?
We've talked about it, but we don't know a number. And that's something that during the process I would want to find out is what do we think the parcel's worth? Which is tough because the parcel
And-
value may be different than the value to the developer.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Sure.
Yeah.
And final parcel values are something that city council discusses in executive sessions, so that it's not necessarily public before any decision is made, so that it, isn't in the public record for anybody to take advantage of. So
Right. And on that, Brett, is it typically a sealed bid when it comes to property sales?
they don't necessarily have to go to bid. You can directly negotiate things, but
Oh,
again, the council sets their prices that they're willing to accept in an executive session. They discuss that so that it's not, you don't want to be negotiating against yourself, I guess, in a public meeting. So,
Exactly. You don't wanna put something out publicly and then try to negotiate something else.
Right.
Yeah, totally get that. Okay, any other questions?
I am very encouraged to hear your reference to perhaps a private developer for that whole piece of property. I'm delighted with that. I'll bet you the school district is too, they're very good.
Yeah.
So, and while that might change the nature of being for emergency vehicles and everything, I think the safety things that it eventually provides will be very good.
Well, living next to the park, I can also vouch for the inactivity from the public really coming in and using it. No one thinks to drive down here and they can park because there is parking. It's mostly utilized by the high school there.
Yeah,
Which is moving.
moving, so.
and who knows what this district's gonna do
Right.
with that property. You think the city has trouble letting go of property, you ought to talk to the school district about it. They will never let go of property.
Yeah, I have no concerns with this either. I'm ready to make a motion if the rest of my committee is, unless anyone has any other questions. Concerns about this. Yeah, I'll make a motion for the Parks Board, namely the vice chair, currently to work with the Parks and Recreation office to prepare an advisory report for city council and the mayor on the surplus of this First Street parcel that we're talking about tonight.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Good to move it forward unanimously.
Awesome.
When you need a unanimous vote.
It's good practice, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
There's
all I
nothing
have.
else we need from Brett. Would any more questions for him? No?
Great, hopefully this progresses as we want it to.
Thank you, Brett.
They'll stick around though,
Yeah.
just for fun.
yeah, I'll stick around for the whole thing, but thank you.
All right, we're ready to move on to B, the Common Street Homelessness Response Property Management. I love that you send that.
Yeah.
It's nice to see that.
And this is the reason why Brett's sticking around.
Right.
Good segue.
You know, I'm gonna start off with this slide. This is just kind of our monthly update, and then I'm gonna go ahead. The next slide's gonna give us kind of where we're at year to date. If you guys recall, last meeting, I spoke about, in a plan weekly average that we're at about 11, 12. We're right in between there. That's a pretty good figure. You're looking at 70 site visits in a month. I mean, that's making a lot of contacts.
That's a lot
out
of
there.
contact.
41 of them are meaningful connections, which is great, and then having 24 people that were connected to services within a month, all good things, and 7 of them have already entered shelter or some other form of housing. So good stuff there, and like,
Can I just ask a quick question? I'm sorry. Is there a database being maintained of their contact and who the people are? Sorry that I.
that is through more common streets and
Yeah.
and not
Yeah.
within the city or
Gotcha,
parks.
gotcha.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
And how are you defining meaningful connections? Like, what does that mean?
People who are looking to engage and willing to take resources. And so,
Yeah.
even though there's 70 site visits, there's people that are out there saying, hey, we don't want any assistance or anything else. Making that meaningful connection means, hey, we're actively engaged in conversation. And we're looking to connect them into services. And so you can see the progression, within this, within the slide. And so as we move on to, since common streets and the city has, been in partnership together. Some amazing numbers at over 3,000 people. Here's our weekly, in a plan weekly average, like I stated, we're right there at 11 again. So a lot of good stuff, happening, they are incredible benefit to,
Yes. Yeah.
to parks, and I will speak on that.
Brian, I have a question. The 3265 number for site visits, is that individual people or is that the potential where they contacted the same person multiple times?
So generally, those are just individual reports and sites and, contacts.
Although if there's a group of them together, that would be one site visit, I would guess.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. So potentially there's a lot more than just.
Yeah, a lot more.
That number of, you know,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
site visit
Yeah.
may contain 2, 3,
You bet.
4
You
different,
bet.
camps.
Sure.
With that, the next slide is some of the things that, some topics and locations that we spoke about, within this last month's meeting. As you can see, they're all parks. And so with that, I wanted to follow up with a couple of things. For drone trails, it was evaluated on 8/4, it was posted on 8/6. We had a cleanup on 8/11. We also just had another cleanup last Friday, starting at 1 o'clock. That was also evaluated, posted and cleaned up. So this is ongoing and you'll see that in next month's meeting, the last Friday's cleanup, but I just want to kind of throw it out there. This is ongoing. This isn't a one and done. This is constant within the park. So that's kind of what I wanted to highlight here.
Does city council get briefed on this? And the mayor, do they see this information at all?
I'm not sure exactly the
I
connection.
think it might be worth sharing.
Does a
Oh, yeah.
either
I know they've done.
twice a year or quarterly,
They go to a
they go to
presentation?
council
Okay,
and
cool.
provide
Okay.
presentation to.
Awesome.
And I've seen them present at individual council.
Yep.
District meetings too, so,
Yeah,
so they're out there.
Good, absolutely.
yeah, and we've occasionally tied them to one of our committees that we're involved with the city council. So I'm sure Common Street will be involved with our new committee that we're on, the Public Safety and Parks Committee. We were on the Finance, Investment, Parks and Parking
Oh, you got
Committee.
moved, huh?
We got moved,
Effective
Alright.
when?
last 2 months ago.
Oh.
Yeah, Yeah, and so because Common Streets is so tied to public safety, it'll be a topic of discussion, and there's 3 council members on each committee.
Yeah.
So we can't have a quorum, but we have three of the council members are hearing information more than just the general. And then they typically will report that in addition to the presentations to the general council. Any other questions on this?
No more questions. I'm finding that they are a benefit to our parks. We've spoken with them in Forest Ridge Park, and they've been such a benefit, really outstanding people that are coming in and meeting with the unhoused or, you know, whatever, and we're so respectful to them. And they have all these options, so it is a blessing to have them come in and assist with.
Well,
Yeah.
with so many resources available, because we've got a concentration of resources.
Yes.
So let's get the people to them, and
Cause some don't know,
yes,
they
exactly,
just
Yeah.
are trying to survive.
And parks isn't in the resource. business.
Exactly.
Right.
And so
yeah,
having some experts come in and
Yeah.
be that first
Yes.
line
Yeah.
is great for us.
right, right.
Do you know if there's any like follow-up after they've gotten in touch with the services, like are the services working and everything?
Oh, yes.
I think they that's helpful.
All right, if no more comments. Alex,
Okay.
you're up next, the Parks Usage and Community Suggestion Outreach. I'm excited to hear what you found.
Yeah, some of it's not news.
Yes.
So I did a survey with line clients, so basically over 2 consecutive Sundays, just about an hour period. It's like from when they open at 11 to about noon, because it's just really busy in the lobby there, during that time, and then it kind of trickles off. So I got about like 39 people, like did get 39 people. And I asked them 2 questions. I had a little survey and passed out pens to them if filled it out, or sometimes I would like interview them if it worked out better. But the 2 questions were, how do you use the parks and what do you want to see from the parks, or what do you want to be improved? Next slide. So parks usage, the most common things are listed at the top, basically exercise, walking, hiking, enjoying nature, walking a dog or other animals. I did see a cat at Blueberry the other day, so it's not
Yeah.
just dogs.
Yeah, right, yeah. They're there.
On a leash?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very chill cat. And then taking kids to play and, I don't remember enjoying spending time in the park. I'm not sure that one got cut off. But some of the less common ones that people wrote were, you know, parties, events, being by the water, hobbies, going for picnics, riding their bike. Someone said camping, but I think they misunderstood when I was talking about city parks. I think they were talking about state parks.
Yeah.
And then just exploration sports and using the bathroom. Okay, and these are some of the broader themes that I came up with for suggestions for improvement. The main one was the bathrooms, which I'll go into in the next few slides, and then parks in general, some inclusion kind of related things, various parks amenities, activities, dogs and dog parks, park rules, the website, and in opposition to inclusion, exclusion. So next slide. So bathrooms. Mainly the first one, improved maintenance and cleanliness of bathrooms. I agree with that one. I've seen some nasty ones. Bathrooms open year round. I thought that they were, but maybe some of them are not, or they misunderstood.
Yeah, some depend, if we get below freezing, we may shut some of them down.
Okay.
But otherwise, most all of them are open year round, right, Ryan?
Right,
Yeah.
it's just the hours, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if this was like a county-wide poll or more of a city
I
poll.
was trying to focus it on the city, but some people may have misunderstood.
Because within the county, they close their restrooms, in the
Yeah.
city, we try not to, so.
Yeah.
Unless it's, you know, weather plans.
Yeah,
They
it could
close
be
them? The
misunderstood.
county closes their restrooms, like for the season?
I know a lot of places that do. Yeah,
Okay.
They winterize the restrooms.
All right, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, then it's providing bathrooms at parks, which I think there might be a few that don't have them, and then providing more stalls. I agree with that one, especially women's bathrooms. And then parks in general, Having more parks and open spaces, improved maintenance and cleanliness of parks. The dog poo is on another one. More nature, wilderness trails, improved security at parks, longer hours. I think that's mainly outside of summertime. And then open a new disc golf course, which that's not news. We've heard that from the disc golf people. And then as for inclusion, more access for those with disabilities, like with wheelchairs and that kind of thing. Allowing homeless into the park, inclusive of new people. I'm not sure exactly what they meant by that one, but I included it anyway. And then improved sidewalk maintenance. There are a few parks that need that. Wow. All right, next slide. And then for amenities, so some of the sub themes that I have were shelter and resting spots, sports, water fountains, sanitation, and then just some other. So as for shelter and resting spots, having more tables, benches, and chairs, as well as covered and shaded seating areas, which I have to agree with that. There's not enough places to sit, and if there are, it's right out in the sun. And then as for sports, a lot of them were about basketball. So,
Yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah.
That's great.
people want to play basketball. So providing basketball hoops, full court basketball courts and a 3-point line. Outdoor fitness stations, there's support for the little fitness station that we're considering. One person said, do not remove the volleyball hit. They wanted that one. Then as for water fountains, providing water fountains and then water bottle refill stations. I agree with that too. I always carry my water bottle with me. Then sanitation. Have a sanitation station. I'm not sure. I tried looking that up and I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
Maybe somebody does,
Yeah,
but
so it's basically just, so they have them at like special events and they're typically modular. And
Oh,
it's
it's a hand
essentially,
washing
hand washing station. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I think that kind of goes along with them with the bathroom part too.
Okay, yeah.
And then less trash, and then provide trash bins, which I think if you provide more trash bins, you'll get less trash. And then a smoking area, which I disagree with. I don't think it's okay. Nobody should.
it's, yeah, there's not a city vibe.
Yeah, and the last few ones for the amenities part is providing barbecue grills, more toddler-friendly areas or activities, and then a place to walk bikes.
Cool. And so just a question, like on suggestions for improvements, those are basically the number, and you didn't really give them a checklist, it was just verbal.
Yeah,
And
they
so-
just wrote it down.
Okay, so 2 people said barbecue grills.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
as opposed to a checklist, okay.
Yeah. I just made it a little bit easier to read.
Yeah, for sure.
So then some other ones for activities, just broadly more activities, no other explanation than that. More activities for children outside of school, more outdoor activities and sports, community activities, and then activities for adults. So some of those are very broad. Do what you want. And then we go into the dogs and the dog park. So cleaning up the dog poop, providing doggy bags. So I think we provide the doggy bags that will encourage people to clean up the poop more. Keeping dogs on leashes for sure. Then we go to the dog parks. Somebody wanted more enrichment at the dog parks, like logs to climb on, things like that. Generally having more dog parks, providing a fenced dog park. And some of these could be like an indication that we just need more advertising on park amenities. So next slide. And then this is the last one. So somebody wanted to see like the do's and the don'ts, like what you can do, what you shouldn't do with the parks. Someone else wanted the parks website to be kept updated. And then the last one, removing homeless or squatters from parking lots. So I don't know which specific one they were thinking of, but that was a suggestion somebody had. So that's the end of my little slideshow.
Well, thanks for doing that.
Oh, yeah,
That's
that's
nice,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. And can we go back to?
Talking to the people.
We just, wait, that, just try that, I forget what I was gonna. What the other one, it was around dog parks, so. There was a,
This one maybe?
no, I'll get around to it again, sorry.
Okay.
See what it was, Joe, that you wanted to comment?
Oh, I know what it was. So where was the disc golf? Where was the disc golf? Because just have a moment of clarity.
More
when we
disc
talk
golf
about that.
courses.
We could have a disc golf slash.
I think all
golf.
those under
Would work. That would be a nice joint, it would be a nice joint use if they,
You don't think one would interfere with the other?
half of the disc golfers out there have their dogs out there
Yeah, they do,
anyway,
they
you know? Why
I could
not?
just imagine the dogs grabbing somebody else's disc and running off with it.
Well, mine would, and mine would be the worst behaved. Out there,
Well,
so.
aren't there dogs that go for discs
Yeah.
all the time?
It depends
Yeah.
on, it depends on
Yeah.
what the owner
Sure.
does with them.
Okay.
Disc golf is really thrown, it's.
Any more comments or suggestions or replies? Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, I
Very nice.
appreciate you going and doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Because I think it does it does hit on that concern, and council saw another survey recently where I think some of the concern is the access to our general surveys and not everybody can access them. So doing things like that are extremely helpful to
yeah.
get some, you never know what you're gonna get from. But yeah, I think a lot of it was actually in line with some of the other information that we found out, so. That's
so
good.
these were people that were not able to participate in any of the surveys previous, or you just.
Just a different venue.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no idea if there's a circle.
So are they maintaining their race beds?
Yeah,
Are they?
yeah, I
Good.
actually volunteer with them, so I
Oh,
help out
do
with
you?
that.
Yeah. That's nice to hear.
It's really good.
Huh?
It looks really good.
Oh, good.
All right,
Yeah, they're cool.
you ready to move on to the Kitsap Peninsula Staff Dog Park Tour?
Okay.
Ryan and Tim.
So Josh should be joining us any moment, and so I'll kind of stop when he gets here and then we can proceed along. So in preparation for our dog park grant that we received and development of the dog park at Stephenson Canyon, we decided that we would go on a tour. So we picked a morning, 2 separate weeks in the past month. And hit 6 different dog parks in Kitsap Peninsula. So very fun. Probably one of the most common comments we got in looks was, why don't you guys have a dog with you?
Yeah, yeah.
Because you got
They
four
know.
four people walk in, one's got a clipboard. The rest of us just look like thugs and
Yeah.
we have no dog.
Yeah,
So
so you're not there.
we became a target quickly. But no, it was good. So I'm gonna run through all 6 of them. Colette kind of laid out, and Colette was sorry she's not here. She's up in Alaska, on vacation back home. So, she'll be back with us later this week. Yeah, so she kind of provided me, just some talking points as well, that are very similar for each of the dog parks. So I'll just kind of walk through them. As we have each slide. So Rotary Bark Park in Gig Harbor, has anybody been to that?
No.
It was probably one of our favorite ones. The off-leash area is 15 acres in size and it's a total of 97 acres. And it's part of the, Penn Met Park District. Penn Met,
Yeah, they got a park district out there.
Yes.
Harbor.
yeah, yes,
Oh,
yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay, well.
So-
good thing.
So one thing about this park is the access to the dog park from the parking lot. It's about a quarter of a mile from the trailhead, so it was quite a distance for us to get out there.
Yeah.
So you park next to a fire station and then you walk your way out to where the dog park is actually at. It's 5-foot galvanized wire mesh fencing, double gated bullpen entry. Everything we saw, if everybody familiar with what a double gated bullpen
Yes,
entry
yes.
is, so essentially you'd walk in the first gate, lock the gate or shut the gate, unhook your dog and then let him into the main part and then shut that secondary gate. So it's kind of a transition area.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, so in this park, there's over a mile of fenced off-leash trails, and an open meadow area. So on the bottom right corner, you can kind of see that open meadow space, but most of the off-leash area was actually trailed systems, and that's something we did find that we hadn't really thought about. For for Stephenson Canyon is looking at some of those upper trails.
Yeah.
That we have and seeing what we could do to incorporate that into the dog park, just to kind of create a little bit of different. Yeah, just to create a little bit of different scenery.
And we have the opportunity for that at stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, you sure could, cause there are natural trails all the way through there
For sure.
already, so, you know.
So water and restrooms, so they have portable restrooms at the parking lot, so a quarter of a mile from where you end up going into the dog park at. And there's a water spigot at that same area at the trailhead. But what they do require is for individuals to carry the water jugs to the dog park.
Yeah, no,
And so you kind of see on the bottom, left hand or upper right hand corner is where the filling station is. And then people transport them, and then obviously when they leave, they'll put them back over here, fill them up, and then they're ready for somebody else.
people
that-
do that now.
Yeah, so that's, yeah, and that's
nice.
something that, you know, I hadn't seen and it is common in some of the other areas that we did go and look at. So they do have a shade structures, you can see there, kiosk with information, and informational signage rules. There's no separate small dog area at this park, and I think maybe because it has trailed areas, it's kind of a natural separation as well. There's no agility area. Observations that we came up with, it was a well-used park site. We were here probably about 10 o'clock on Wednesday morning. So middle of the week, still a good amount of people there. Users seem to value the combination of the wooded trails and open areas. So there were definitely different gathering spots or people that noticed would walk the trail system and then end up in the play area for the dogs. So
So, how did you like the fence?
I liked it a lot. It's one of the better fences that we came across.
You really don't.
Comparatively, there'll be another slide in here that they have a different option that we experienced.
yeah, what we
Yeah.
did find was that the bullpen entry areas tend to be a different type of fence.
Oh, of course.
But then obviously this type of fencing that we see here is quite a bit of cost savings.
Well, and what it also does is it provides a barrier for dogs as they're moving along, so
Yeah.
they just don't go that way.
So the whole property is
It's not a-
fenced with that,
The whole 15 acres of
Yeah,
the dog
okay,
park
okay.
is, yeah, it's big area.
And what we also
Yeah.
found too is that within that, letting the natural vegetation on the outside of that grow up,
Yes,
it provided that
Yeah,
visual
even
barrier
more.
for the dogs
Yeah,
to do
even
it, so it's almost,
Yeah.
seamless that they
Yeah,
use
yeah.
the trail to.
Yeah, so that's Rotary Bark Park.
how long has it been there? Do you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know
for sure.
either.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, maybe if we can zoom in on the sign,
yeah.
we could probably say, yeah, I'm not sure how long it's been
All right.
there. Yeah. So Josh, are you ready?
Never been this ready in my life.
Have you ever followed a dog park conversation?
Well, be ready for you.
We kept it up for you.
Okay, where do you want me? Right?
Pull up a chair, yeah, wherever.
Wherever you
Yeah,
like.
let me go back to your slide.
Nice to see some familiar faces.
Yes.
Welcome to the Parks and Rec Commission
Oh, cool.
monthly meeting.
I'm glad to be here. Yeah, thank you for what you do, first and foremost. As many of you know, I've lived in Bremerton a long time, for 20 years now. And the Parks Commission work as a Concept Summit reporter are always some of my favorite meetings to cover. I just think I love parks and I love the work that you do and why you do it. So it's really important to me just as a resident of Bremerton. Thank you. So yeah, you can see here, I don't know if any of you have attended our previous events. Bridging Bremerton was something that I started in 2018. It was kind of a cool coinciding with the city's 100th anniversary centennial of the Minette annexation. Literally was a cool thing to dig into. I went through the entire archive of the Bremerton News, which was the paper at that time, paper record, and Just fascinating why the Minette needed water and there was a ferry, but called the Pioneer that ran between Minette and Bremerton, the east and Bremerton, Point Heron, Minette Peninsula and downtown, and the cars drove off it sometimes, and that was not a good thing for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So they incorporated, and 12 years later, a bridge was built, the first bridge. And then in 1958, a second bridge went at the Port Washington Narrows, otherwise we know as the Warren Avenue Bridge.
Were they both state bridges at that time, or when they first went in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Minette Bridge may not have been. Minette Bridge was kind of the history around it was kind of cool because it's like there was a really active club they may have heard of called in Minette, the East Bremerton Improvement Club. And they actually organized a lot of it, and they sold bonds for the bridge until the state paid it off. So people actually paid for bonds. It was a quarter to get across the original bridge, a quarter, which was a lot of money at the time. In 1930, a quarter was a lot of money. But it's because the ferry, compared to the ferry, this was actually a deal. People could get back and forth, and the state paid it off. But then when the state built the bridge in 58. They tolled the bridge again, and some of you might notice that they actually put tolls back on the Minette Bridge for a few years to make sure people couldn't cheat the toll.
Yeah.
Kind of cool, but
Yeah.
the cool thing about bridging Bremerton and why I started this was because those bridges, of course, were they were built for cars, but they serendipitously created a bridge loop that has parks, right? Our flagship park of Bremerton, the Evergreen Rotary Park. Others on this side, Sheridan, where we're sitting right here, East Park, the Whitey Domstad Viewscape in Minette. And of course, when the state built the new bridge, a former council member, Adam Brockus, helped to advocate for having a proper divider between the traffic, and it created really a promenade.
Yeah.
And in my mind, that was like an opening of, well, why don't we have this on the other bridge too? And why don't we have 10-foot sidewalks all the way between them? Because so many people use this great pathway. And fast forward to I think it was Senator Emily Randall at the state level got an appropriation in the budget, and next year I think construction hopefully will begin on expanding the Warren Avenue Bridge to a much wider pedestrian path. So there will still be work to do, but the vision is to just create an active recreation site, if you will, of a 3-mile walking loop that can be accessed by as many people in all walks of life at all accessibility levels possible. It's well lit. I believe that cities have this, and Bridging Bremerton is kind of my love letter to this vision, and that I would love to. I hope that we can achieve maybe in the not too distant future. And so we have 3 big events, and we would love to have anyone from the Parks Commission who would like to volunteer. We have, I will send you a website. There are t-shirts involved, just if that agrees, we're hoping to have t-shirts for this. So all the volunteers will get a t-shirt. And the big event throughout the day, you can see there's 3 different events. There's a Roxy, a theater event that I'd love to have you go to, but I'll focus just on an interest of time on the 2 events that really encompass the bridge loop. The first is the Kids Passport Adventure. So each kid will be equipped with a map, and it will go to around 10 different sites just between Evergreen Rotary Park and Whitey Domstad Viewscape across the Minette Bridge. And along the way, there will be different stations, and there will be historic photos, and there will be a kind of a docent who will talk through, sometimes very briefly for kids who are just interested in filling out their maps, but for other people who are interested in information, the Pioneer Ferry that used to go between Minette and Bremerton is one of our stations, for instance. But hidden artifacts that you would not otherwise know about in the history of Bremerton, and that will come alive for people, for kids and adults alike. And then they'll make their way back across, and they can redeem their finished map, for a cookie at Evergreen Pizza, as well as a duck from the Turner Joy Museum, and it's good for the USS Turner Joy Museum ship 2 passes, one for them and a guardian or parent of which they can take with them. So it's really fun, really special event. I will also do a narrated tour of the entire bridge loop, and we have speakers along the route all the way from Upper Road Vista Park. Another sort of, I think, diamond in the rough, you know, yes, it's a long worn avenue, I know. But there's some really interesting history there, and certainly Lower Road Vista has some great history. We'll have people all along the entire route, as we narrate and move along, and we always need volunteers to make sure people are safe. These are city streets that we're traversing. So anybody that would like to go with us or at the crosswalk locations, those will be our primary areas where we'll need some volunteers. If you would be so inclined, from around 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. is kind of our sweet spot for volunteer efforts. And as I said, we have a website to register folks who want to be volunteers and get t-shirts and be an official part of the event. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
I partly invited Josh because of our discussions in the last few months of potentially looking at some historical type tours within our park system. But thought this would be a great way to help out Josh and kind of see how he manages it. And then we could look at it as kind of a good guiding document for us to be able to do some walks within our park system.
That'd be great.
Well, and it would be great to have a joint venture. It would be nice to support it everywhere.
Yeah, sure.
I think that would be a nice partnership.
Josh, the website that I see on there, that's where we can sign up.
Yep, bridgingbremerton.com. I will send an email to Tim, who can email it to you, that has the volunteer, the specific volunteer sheet. Some suggestion, you know, that would be kind of cool to have Parks Commission. You know, the bridge is gonna be really central, the Manette Bridge will have 4 history stations, so in the alcoves, so there's 4 alcoves on the bridge. And there will be a station at each one, like the crossing on Washington Avenue at the bridge. It's a busy crossing, it'd be great to have a volunteer or 2 there, and then on the other side of the bridge, between at the roundabout. Those would be 2 locations that would be great to have volunteers from the Parks Commission. It's just a suggestion, but there are plenty of other spots too.
How is this being advertised?
Well, the flyer that you see there, we're posting those around town. That's the main way, and then social media, we obviously have a website now, bridgingbremerton.com, and we're also on Facebook. Trying to, the Bridging Bremerton has a page on Facebook. I've done some videos promoting it, and we have an Instagram. That counts.
Is this on the city website, didn't you know?
It probably isn't, but easily could be. Good suggestion.
That would be great. I just don't see the city logos down there. I'm hoping
Yeah.
the city can get behind.
We have
Yeah,
not
yeah.
provided funding to support it.
One thing about the city, so the mayor will speak. He typically has through all of the events and
He
coronations.
walks too.
Yeah, and he does. Yeah, I think he's joined us on this wall, if not all walks. Yeah, always been great to have him there. There's one other thing I was going to say about that, but I can't remember. So, we certainly have lots of support from the city, which has been great.
If I go to that website.
Yeah.
And I can share a link, I mean, I can copy and share it, like Forest Ridge Park, we have our monthly work party. I could share it on that page.
You bet.
Okay.
Yeah, you bet. You can absolutely share it. We also, everybody that goes to this event, you can already get copies of this, but there is a bridge trail walking map that was made, Leadership Kids Have class a few years ago made. Really nice one. I curated the different bits of history that are throughout. You'll see the motif of that the starfish there, or the sea star, which you can still find on the streets.
Yeah, they're there. I see them.
But also within that map, and of course, we'll keep that, and it'll probably be a part of the t-shirt too, that's coming out. So, so that is on the city's website, I believe. I think so.
I feel like there's multiple electrical boxes that have the wrap with the route on them too.
That's right. Yeah, I love that. A few years ago when I think it was the Public Works Department that actually put the funding, but of course, thanks to the Arts Commission for that, beautifying our electrical boxes. Yeah, there's one at the corner of 11th and Pacific, and then there's one on this side by the art wall or the intersection at East 18th that will.
And you said the main volunteer hours would be like 11 to 3. Do you have to be there that whole time?
No, frankly, if you wanted to split it, or I would say 11 to 1 is really our high traffic time. So if you have a little time during the day, that would be the best time for us to have.
And for on the bridge in the alcove, you're gonna have like canopies or something for shade?
We are, that is still, the History Museum and the Turner Joy Museum. Turner Joy has one of them and the History Museum has 3 of the stations on the bridge. And they are planning some kind of a canopy. We don't know how big we can really make it though, because it's a limited sidewalk, but yeah, the hope, we will have some kind of shade for the volunteers there.
It means you're anticipating good weather.
It means we're
Right.
educated, yeah.
The sun, to block the sun.
Yes.
But the sun, exactly.
I wish it was raining.
Well,
We need the rain.
We do.
We do, no question.
You know, there's questions and comments.
Did you want to touch on the 6 o'clock? Cause I think it sounds like a really cool event.
It does.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. So kind of handpicked, about 7 different speakers. And something that I think, gets overlooked, maybe not overlooked in Bremerton, but that many of us are from here, but there are a lot of people who come to find Bremerton. The Navy, of course, is a prominent presence, always here, and we come here and we adapt to Bremerton, and we fall in love with Bremerton, and that's certainly my story, and I know many people share that story. So we're curating a kind of a unique story event where people will share either stories from history where people came to Bremerton. There's a great story of a woman who, her husband died on a fishing vessel. She was from Norway. She came and she was the first employee to retire from a US naval shipyard right here in Puget Sound. And she worked in the sail loft, which of course the sail loft at the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard began because we were in the age of sail. Like literally Navy ships had sails on them. And of course, that's later they handle textiles and things like that for nuclear Navy submarines and aircraft carriers. But this woman's story is one of adaptation. She came to Bremerton, she lived downtown, and she became part of the fabric of the community. We'll have some personal stories that people will tell, as well as just kind of general people like Quincy Jones and how they came here and how Bremerton changed them. And my hope is we'll tell a few stories. There may or may not be some trivia. I do like doing some trivia for people, and it'll be kind of a little bit of a variety show. There will be Evergreen Pizza is going to sell pizza outside, and of course you can get a drink at the Ross Theater. But the idea is it's entertaining. You'll learn some interesting facts, but that we all leave kind of grounded in, hey, you learn something about history, but the connection that we all share to this place, and strengthening that connection, because Bridging Bremerton is all about the connection geographically. This will be more of like our connection that we all experience as it having lived here and be fun. And it's completely, all of this, by the way, is completely free. It's made possible by our very generous service clubs, the East Bremerton Rotary, Downtown Rotary, and the Bremerton Central Lines. That's who's funding this. I should also just briefly mention that we do help with paint supplies for the Manette Art Wall. The YLA Graffiti Invitational will be going on. And there will be cans of paint for people who walk the bridge loop to be able to go up and paint something themselves and hear from the artists. And the artists are doing a big collective mural, as they've done every year for this event as well. So it's another kind of cool. I sort of envision that as many spaces as we can activate, on the bridge loop as possible. In future years, I hope to grow it even further. And this year, we have partnered with Sunny Saunders, who puts on Blackberry Festival, and so the Bremerton Bridge Blast. She has really helped me to grow, and she's handling the logistics and making sure this year we're going to have porta potties for the first time. A lot of people have said, this is a long walk. It's good to be able to have a bathroom along the way. So, it's helped me to be able to focus on content and putting on the event, making it a specialist.
Sounds like a great time.
Doesn't it though?
Yeah.
I'm really jazzed about it. Yeah, and I thank you for just listening and being willing to support in any way that you want to. So. Great, Josh. Great.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
appreciate you coming down. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Meet me. Right, the dog part.
Okay.
Yes.
Now on to Tubby. Tubby's Trail. Has anybody been to Tubby's Trail?
Out in the harbor, man.
It's out in the Hobbit.
I know it, I know it.
It's right off the highway,
It's really
right near
nice
the
to drive
bridge.
in.
This was another good, this one definitely shows you, the type of fencing they utilized here. Probably some of the most expensive fencing, but, it's well utilized. It's a really nice facility. This is a 1.2 acre off-leash area, within an 8.5 acre park. Outside of the, initial entry area, it's a 3 foot vinyl coated chain link fencing, double gated bolted entry again. Natural ground surface, like many of the others. There's no dedicated walking trail within this off leash area. So just really, conversation areas and, areas for dogs to roam. There's water available from a higher fire hydrant, which you can see in the center there. Within the off-leash area, and then there is a portable restroom on the exterior that's provided. It does have a shade structure, which is in the bottom right-hand corner. And there is a separate small dog area. So as you enter in, small dog area was to the right, large dog area to the left, or to the left, and then the large dog area to the right. Let's see, no agility or kind of play equipment there at all. Area functions as a catchment for excess water. So you can kind of see in this bottom left corner. Yeah, that's where, it actually was dry. But you can definitely tell when water comes in, that's really that center area becomes full with water. And we
But that's
figured it
within
can
the
become
fence.
very muddy. Yeah, it's
That's
between
within
the
the
whole,
fence.
it's within the whole structure.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah. Let's see, things we noticed, it's compact. Functional dog park with basic amenities, separate areas for different dog sizes. The history of this park, since it seems like nobody's been, Tubby was a black Cocker Spaniel and was the only fatality associated to the 1940 Tacoma Narrows Bridge collapse.
Really.
Hence Tubby's Trail. Yeah. You can also see kind of in the upper right, we kind of briefly talked about accessibility. That's one of our overall concerns with all these other. Even like this one, it did have an asphalt slab where there was accessible parking, but beyond that, nothing was accessible. The restroom facility adjacent to the accessible parking stall isn't even accessible. Just thought that was really interesting throughout all of these. And again, with the natural surface in between, it would be very difficult to roll a wheelchair around. So that's something that we definitely want to take advantage of with our park is designing it so we can ensure that there's some accessibility, not only on the exterior, but on the interior of the dog park.
And I think that checks a couple of the boxes that were within your slides as well.
Yeah. So if I might suggest that you looked at perhaps a little higher of a fence, 3 feet, I've had dogs that clear it without, without blinking.
Well, the kind of preferences,
So even 4 feet, it was better than.
and that was all part of these walks, it's like taking some of the good things that other
Yeah.
parts have done,
Yeah.
and some of the things that we think that we can improve
Yeah.
on before we start to plan out ours, and so it's just more of an acknowledgement of what we saw and what we can learn from.
Yeah, and even looking at, cost. Maybe 3 to 4 foot is okay for a small dog area, but
Oh, for a
definitely
small
not
dog
for a
area.
big dog
Yeah,
area.
Yeah.
So maybe you look at 2 different
Right.
heights of fencing, just to make your dollar stretch a little bit further.
And that fence would be expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yep, absolutely. Alright. Ready to move on to the next one? Okay, now we're moving to Bandix Dog Park, which is in Port Orchard. Bandix is a 30-acre park, in a natural setting. So they have a 6-foot high, chain link fence, which is only along the parking area. The off-leash area is not fully enclosed. And it does have the double gated bullpen entry. And Brian can attest to this. Reason why the fencing's only in this area is because they use the natural environment as the barrier throughout the rest of the park. Wouldn't I say that he can attest to this because it's a county park? And he happened to work for county for a while.
And it's how many acres? 30 or
30 acres. Yeah, so this is a pretty good size. Wooded trails, again, within this larger dog park area, natural ground surfacing. No permanent water source. Users bring their own water jugs. There is portable restroom that is available. Natural shade beneath the existing trees as amenities, and users bring their own portable furniture. And I don't, yeah, so like on the bottom right-hand or left-hand corner, that was common in one of the other county parks as well, that you have just plastic chairs that people have brought to be able to share and so people can utilize. There is a separate small dog area, although it was a little bit overgrown, so as you pull down into the park, the majority is the large dog, and then on the right-hand side was a smaller dog entry area that was totally separate from the large dog area. No agility equipment.
It's too small points, there's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So observations, it was very natural, low impact setting, that relies heavily on existing vegetation and park features, rather than having built-in amenities. So, remind me, this bottom right-hand corner, was that for jugs?
Yeah, this is just for water jugs.
Yeah.
So when they're empty, if you get a chance, grab a few.
Take
Fill 'em
them
up,
all,
bring 'em back.
next time.
So the pink, whether you see the pink rectangle, those are the doggy bags. So, they didn't necessarily have them in stations. They were just kind of out hanging, so easy to access and hard to miss.
Yeah, yeah.
Most definitely. You will see on the kiosk on the bottom left-hand corner, there's a scanner there.
Oh, yeah.
So they do have the scanner there.
Yeah, cool. I don't know that I've ever seen a red, biodegradable dog.
Yeah, so we moved to like the red, the pink colored ones because they, first off, they started out in brown.
Yeah.
And they became very difficult to find when people
Confused.
discarded them. And then they went to green, and green made it even more difficult to find them in the bushes and everything else. So made it more obvious by going to a brighter color.
Yeah,
Reminder to pick it up.
yeah.
So one thing that will be consistent among a lot of these that I just made a note at the end, but it's something to kind of keep your mind on. Most all of these dog parks are managed by volunteers.
Yeah.
Very little staff time go into them. The upper right-hand corner, you see a garbage can. Even at most of these sites, there's garbage cans there and a volunteer will come and roll it out. And leave it out for the garbage truck to come and pick up. So a lot of, whether they're, stewardship groups or just volunteers that sign up, a lot of the dog parks are really managed by the users themselves. Anything else on Banix? Okay, next one, Howe Farm. Anybody been to Howe Farm?
Yeah.
Yes.
Lots, yeah.
Okay, I really like the separation of this one between the nice open kind of field areas and then the fenced in area.
Yeah.
So Howe Farm is a 13-acre dog park, has forest and meadow settings. Has 5-foot high fencing with chain link and double gated bullpen entry. So wire mesh fencing used in other areas, which is something that I think we should look at as well. So having that stronger, more durable where your bullpen and entries are, but then having something that's just more of a necessary barrier, but less cost than other parts of the dog park. Off-leash trails throughout, wooded areas, combined, with that massive open meadow space, so kind of two different levels of meadow for this park. There's no water source, but there's portable restrooms that are available. No permanent shade structures, but shades provided by natural wood setting, and there are some picnic tables throughout. No separate areas in this one as well, between large and small dog areas. No agility, it's natural surface, things that we observed. This kind of combines the benefits of wooded trails and open meadow space in a natural park setting.
How big was this one?
30 acres.
No,
13
13.
is what I've got. What do you think it is?
6.6.
6.6.
Oh,
That's
Six point six acres, and that is a permanent restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay.
oh,
Okay.
okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Permanent restroom over there. So maybe the whole area was 13.
And this is what you're talking about in terms of that, the kind of the more mesh type fencing and then the natural growth that grows up around it to support that barrier.
Yeah, so you'll see down here at the
Yeah.
very bottom of the field, this is a big open field down here. And blackberries and natural vegetation from Strawberry Creek has kind of encroached on the field fence, creating that barrier.
Yeah.
But the thought process into this was exactly what Tim noted was, you know, the bullpen, a little more stout, a little more rigid. And then kind of keeping a more open visually open setting. And then vegetation's allowed to grow back and
And the other nice thing about this park from a user perspective is that the trails are just kind of winding, meandering kind of through it's a nice setting and the dogs move along with you, rather than pack up and do something.
it was well attended the day that we were there.
Yeah, it was very busy. And I made a mistake. I said 6 dog parks. We went to 8.
Wow.
I lost track.
Good.
Like we did 4 one day, 4 another day. Yeah.
And this is Kitsap County property again? This
Yeah.
particular part?
All right. Then on to Bainbridge Island. We had big expectations for the Bainbridge folk.
Yeah.
But we were very disappointed. I'll say that.
Wow.
So hopefully none of them are listening tonight.
Glad
Brad doesn't have on paper. We're good. Okay, so we were at Eagle Dale Park, off-leash area. This is a 1 acre off-leash area within a larger park. So access to it, it's located in the upper and back ends of the park area. Access is a walk-in from the parking lot at the bottom of the hill. Almost seems like there should have been a home site up above at one point, and maybe they donated the property to the park district. But there's definitely no home up there anymore. There's a lot of broken concrete, some pathways that don't make sense, and even getting down to the dog park area in the very back is steps. And so it's completely inaccessible. Even the slope up from the parking area isn't something that someone would be able to access. Yeah. It's steeper than what we're making it look. We're just raw athletes. So.
Yeah.
What does that sign say that you're standing next to that you can't,
Off leash area,
is that what it says?
Yes.
Okay,
a little faded.
Which one are you looking at?
when you're standing next to
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it says off leash area.
Okay.
Yeah, I was pulling the limb back because it was like,
Oh,
man, that sign looks,
Need some love.
yeah, needs some loving.
And here's the maintenance tax.
Yes. So the fencing in the park varies between 4 to 6 foot high and along the fence area. You can see on the upper right that there is a small trail that kind of meanders around, but it's a very small dog park. No water source or restrooms, within the off-leash area. There was a restroom down below, where the main parking area was. Let's see, limited amenities, primarily a natural park setting. No separate smaller, large dog area, just all in one. No type of agility. You can see on the bottom of the bottom of the kiosk, they have a bucket there. So people would put tennis balls in there, which was kind of a cool idea. That they had, a spot that people could drop a tennis ball, or if they forgot one, lost one, there's something there that people could share. We kind of figured, let's see, seasonal conditions could become very soggy and muddy during the wet season. Not a whole lot of direct sunlight. Things that we noticed, it was very small, natural, off-leash area, suited to be more of a neighborhood use. And it's integrated into a little bit larger. She noted as a community park. I'd probably note it as just a neighborhood park. The overall size of the space. Yeah.
Just because of the size.
Yeah, the usable space. Yeah,
So it could use some love.
it could. Yeah, we've never seen that much moss on top of anything before. That was impressive. Yeah. All right. So the second Bainbridge Island spot we hit, Strawberry Hill, much improved. This is shows it as a half acre, half or 5 acre wooded off leash area, with a small and large dog area. Fully enclosed 4 foot high chain link fence and a large double gated. If you're familiar with an airlock bullpen entry, so airlock essentially you're not, the post, you're not pulling up and down the clip. It's kind of basically spring loaded and rests up against it. So once you're in the bullpen, a dog could, once it's ready, push its way into the area that they wanted to go. So the larger, small area. So that was the only one that we'd seen that way. They did use this type of fencing throughout the entire park. So it had to have been quite an expense to put that in, but it's a nice fence. Yeah, wooded natural area. There's no trails within the fenced in area, although on the large dog side, we did see people that utilize the exterior. Let's see, there's water hose available for filling dog bowls, restroom within the larger park. There's benches and seating with mature trees, providing natural shade. Waste bags and receptacles are provided. Separate, like I said, separate small dog area. They also had a training bay at this one, which is that middle left picture. So the outs on the opposite side of a little pathway from the large and small dog area was a separate training area. Or I would assume if you have a dog that doesn't socialize well, it might be a good spot to kind of run your dog. It wasn't a real big space, but it was kind of nice hadn't seen that before. So it was a nice kind of separate area that they provided there. Natural ground surface, although a lot of it was all mulch throughout the entire, which would take to the water probably a lot better than some of the others parks that we've seen. Nearby amenities, it's in a park where there's playground, sports fields, various courts, skate park, picnic shelters, and just other multi-use spaces. Okay, ready to go on?
Let's go.
We're getting
Yeah.
closer to home.
And how many acres was that?
That was 5 acres total. Yeah. Okay, Poolsville. Probably the least impressive dog park maybe that we saw. Robb Park, This is a 0.7 acre off-leash area. Within a 21 acre community park. So 4 foot high chain link fence, double gated bullpen entry, natural ground surface, which within a larger community park. No fenced in trails within this area. Water hose was available for filling dog bowls, and there's a restroom that was nearby. Benches and seating were available. There was a small dog area, separate fence area provided some separation between the large and small dog area. You can kind of see it off. Well, we're on the upper right, we're inside the large dog, and then you can see the fence on the left-hand side for the small dog area. Let's see. So it's close to, picnic shelters, playgrounds, sports courts, skate park, community gardens. It's a very compact off-leash area. Benefits from its location within a larger amenity, community park. So just a small off-leash space, that if you're visiting this larger park. What's that?
I said afterthought, so.
Yes,
you know,
almost an
that's
afterthought,
nice.
but it's right at the entry to the
Yeah.
main park, so this is kind of, this is the front porch of the main park
Yeah.
as you come in.
Sure. I feel like the ground was all dirt there too.
Oh, it's,
Yeah, it's pretty much either all worn up or
I've been there.
it's really
in the
all
wet
dirt.
season,
Yeah. You
and
don't
I
want to
go back
there, yeah.
there in the wet season.
Yeah.
Cause the one side's pretty sloped, I feel like the entrance,
Uh-huh.
where you're talking about, it kind of slopes off.
Yeah, yeah, as you move further back,
Yeah.
it slopes off pretty
Pretty
good. Yeah. Yeah, and then just again, like the bottom right hand or left hand corner, just kind of an example of something that they provide there. They provide a shovel.
Yeah.
To pick up the dog poo. Just have a shovel hanging out there.
And nobody's stolen that.
No, sorry, no, they have it. No, it's there. Alright. Okay, Silverdale Dog Park is a 1.3 acre off-leash area within Silverdale Rotary Gateway Park. It has 4 foot high chain link fencing and double gated bullpen entry. It's directly adjacent to the Cedar Creek Trail, providing opportunities for leashed walks before and after dog park use. There's a water spigot and restroom that are available adjacent. This one also had a storage shed that was in before you entered in for the volunteers to be able to access various supplies, which I thought was kind of interesting. There's benches and seating, mature trees. They used a carport structure for the shade structure. Waste bags and receptacles are provided there, also similar to one of the parks in Port Orchard. There, you can see them kind of in the middle on the right. Some chairs that people have donated for seating there as well. Let's see, they do have a separate fenced in area for small dogs, natural ground surface. There was quite a few people there that day, so definitely was getting dusty. And then you figured that it would be pretty muddy in the winter weather unless you have some ground growth that kind of covers things back up. Observations is very popular and convenient location. Our parking could become busy because it also serves as a parking lot for the main recreational pathways and uses to the main part of the park.
This is the one off Silverdale Way by the skate park.
Mhm.
Great
Yes.
trail. Okay,
Yes,
got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen people, that little parking lot gets packed.
It does,
Yeah.
yeah, and we were there.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was a Wednesday or a Thursday, but we were there at 11 o'clock in the morning and it was packed.
But they weren't all in the
It was pretty
dog
full.
park.
No, there's a lot of people on the trail.
Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah.
on the trails, yeah.
Trail.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
not everybody. was
Oh,
in the
there's a
dog park.
lot, yes.
Yeah.
It's ground use.
This one also, the other ones, I didn't see it at all. Individual donations or in memory of pets. They had little plaques that were along different parts of the fence lines. So I assume they use that as a fundraiser to put amenities back into the the dog park areas. So just a couple general comments. One, I already touched on the accessibility. This one, I can't remember if the volunteer group is noted on here, but we kind of discovered that there's this, do you remember the name of their group?
Kids up on Park Creek.
Yeah, it's something simple. Kits at Dog Park Inc. I think managed at least 3 of the sites. And so Colette's reached out to them to get more information. And just kind of see, is that something, is Bremerton something they may even be interested in? And if not, can we steal resources, ideas? How do you manage the people that are contributing and supporting each of the individual dog parks? So that was an organization none of us had heard of before. So that was cool to see that partnership. I think maybe it was all the county ones that had it. Yeah.
All of the county ones, did you say?
The 3 that we want to, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Partner with this organization. That's it. It's all 8 of them.
Cool.
So you're ready for Steve?
So we're ready.
Canyon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so we're ready.
So how many acres is Stephenson Canyon?
Oh, I meant
Depends on how you
to
draw
write
it, I
that down.
suppose.
Yeah, it kind of depends on the space that we utilize. Is that open space area a couple acres?
I'd say probably close to 2 acres of open space
Yeah.
down below, and then we have that upper area.
Yeah, not including where we're looking at for this
the small
dog area.
Yeah.
And it doesn't include incorporation of any of the trail systems.
Right, if you went over the.
So we could have anywhere between 2 and maybe 3 to 4 acres total to work with.
Well, thanks for all that work.
Yeah.
I think that was great idea.
Yeah.
Checking it out,
So
getting
our plan,
ideas.
yeah, our plan next month, and we'll get information out to you, is that we'll have an on-site meeting, so then we can get out.
Sure.
And we'll just hold the whole meeting there, but we can get out and really look at the site prior to getting our steering committee put together to help really push this project forward.
You have a projection of the approximate time frame of having it ready and to go?
I mean, we'd love to be able to kind of get some, the public input process this fall,
Sure.
maybe do some design work in the winter. And depending on what we would do in-house versus contract, to go through construction process next summer would be ideal,
Okay.
next spring, summer.
Were you the chauffeur on those trips as well, Brent?
I sure was.
Yeah, you are. Good.
Yeah, it was in my Ford Escape.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, you didn't have the.
I don't let
senior
anybody
section
drive me
yet.
in the city Ford Escape.
But John, to speak to what you're talking about, is even when this park was built, you can see along the backside that they also used vinyl coated chain link fence. But when you look at it right here,
Yeah.
it's not really needed.
No,
It's such
no, not at all.
dense vegetation.
No, you'll.
So
you'll
something
have to
that-
come walk with us
Something
someday.
a little more simple, like a field fence or something like that, that's a little more practical. And a little more cost efficient will, surely suffice.
Yeah,
So the location of Stevenson Dog Park, it'll have natural shade just from trees and foliage. So we wouldn't necessarily need a structure.
well, I think that would be something good to talk about.
Yeah.
Cause I think we've talked about a potential to put a structure down there,
So,
because
yeah.
the center portion could get quite a bit of sun, gets
Okay.
quite a bit of sun throughout the day.
Alright, alright.
But again, it gives us the opportunity to use some natural barrier, but also use some trails. So it could be a good mix.
Alright, I guess we're ready to move on. I see the next screen, the 27, 28
Trying to get you out of here
biennial
by seven.
budget update.
Okay, so as I promised, throughout the budget process, I'll just kind of be giving you some tidbits and highlights throughout. So the check marks, are things that we've gotten through so far. So the kickoff happened. I went in front of council and just kind of talked about what our needs are within the department. Shared with them, what some standards are, across the country, as far as staffing levels, park sizes, types of facilities that we have to comparable communities. We've submitted our operating expenses and revenues. We've also submitted our rates and fee structures. So the only thing that I'm looking to change this year, I changed all fees last year, which was over 200 fees. This year, we're looking at really focusing on golf course, which is where a majority of our revenue comes in anyway. And less on, I have concerns with pricing ourselves out of business, and recreation to me is a benefit to the community, and just making sure that what we're charging obviously covers our costs. But we don't want to lose participants because of what we're charging for programs. And so department rates and fees, as you notice below, we'll cover that with council on October 28th. But the highlighted one is the one I wanted to kind of cover with you today mostly, was showing you, because this year we submitted a 6-year capital improvement plan. So our parks capital budget, which coincides directly with the pros plan. And so that'll be on the next slide. I'll talk through that with you. But upcoming budget meetings, so the general council workshops where they'll hear from the various departments will be on October 22nd and 26th. We don't know who will present when yet. October 28th will be dedicated to just rates and fees. Early November will be the opportunity for council to ask departments questions, and hopefully we can answer them as much as we can on site. And then for council to talk about whether they want to have any sort of priorities. We have been given a direction, like I had mentioned previously, that the council wants to see a zero-based budget. So nobody, unless you cover it with increase in revenues or revenue to offset expenses, nobody should be presenting really any new budget other than stabilizing where we were this current fiscal year. For 2027 and for 2028 right now. Then following November 5th. Yep, I'm sorry. Is that all departments? All departments, yeah. Yeah, and because we already run on a pretty tight budget in parks, we haven't necessarily been asked to look at making cuts as much as other departments have. So there's some departments that are doing some consolidation, with some positions, but also looking at, instead of contracting out some services, trying to provide that in-house and save some money that way. So there's definitely a lot of work that's being done behind the scenes.
Gregor, I have a quick question on,
Yeah.
you mentioned Gold Mountain and potential fee hikes.
Uh-huh.
Are we talking greens fees and rental of the facility for like weddings and whatnot?
Yeah, primarily greens fees.
Okay.
And so what we have listed within our fees and structures is a not to exceed rate, because we run Gold Mountain. We have a dynamic pricing system. And so if you want to go and play, let's say at prime time at 9 a.m., you're probably going to pay what's listed as the peak. But if you want to go play at 3 p.m., you're going to be paying much less. So like I said, the dynamic pricing and the not to exceed is what we put in as our budget requests for increases each year.
And the other thing I just want to say, it makes sense. Cascade course is being improved, and we have just those are just beautiful courses out there.
Absolutely.
That are just highly sought after and draw people from all over our state to come play.
Right, and even Cascade right now has a certain pricing structure, and once it's completed, that'll change.
Yeah, the fees are competitive, and but I hear no complaint. I personally don't golf, but I have a lot of friends that do, and they just rave about Gold.
Oh, yeah, I mean, and I've started playing a lot of different courses around the area, and there's some that, especially 12 months a year, I feel like ours are in way better shape, and I'm paying, $30-40 more to play somewhere else. When really we're probably one of the best deals. And I know council looks at that and says, okay, well, let's charge more, but at the same time, we still wanna function as a municipal course.
Well, you wanna grow, you
Yeah.
wanna grow partly participation.
Yeah.
That's what you wanna keep.
Yeah, and there's some other things, and maybe this next year, because with Cascade, that project starting to move forward. I also had a meeting today where we're looking at redesigning the practice facility. Modernizing things, but then also making it more interactive and entertainment type value to that space. So bringing things in like fire pits, cornhole, other things that will entice people to come out and hang out. Maybe a small venue where someone could perform, as well. So incorporate some of these things in, but also with our driving range. Maybe not make it quite the Top Golf or a virtual golf, but bring in, the ability for someone to be able to use, the track tracer and see how far they're actually hitting as opposed to looking. So bring some of that technology in without going to the extent that some of those entertainment venues go to. So, cool stuff.
I have to
Cool
admit,
stuff.
I'm ignorant on, I didn't know, I knew you could make reservation times, but I didn't know you paid for specific times and you paid more at a better time?
Yep,
Oh, okay.
yep,
And people are willing to pay it.
absolutely.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
convenience.
So how?
All day long.
Okay.
Yeah, you
I had
pay, you
no
pay for
idea.
convenience.
I knew that you could make a reservation, but I
Yeah,
didn't know.
So my
typically it's a-
neighbor who is leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning to go golfing.
Yeah.
On the weekends is probably going up.
Yeah,
And that
first light
cheaper.
till dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Yep.
okay, all right, thanks.
Yeah, usually the first tee times, especially if you're fall, winter, spring, they hold it off a little bit because of dew. But usually your first tee times are between 6:30 and 6:45 in the morning.
The early birds.
Yes, yes.
So, the main public hearings, in front of council, so that'll give the opportunity for the public after it's published. After the budget's published, for comments, November 11th and 18th will be those public hearings. These are just kind of estimates for now. Council could end up delaying this if they want to deliberate more, but but the plan is to be able to get it, forwarded on, public hearings will be the 11th and 18th with the adoption on November 18th. Is what's planned for right now. So as far as, what can the commission do to help support? I'll kind of keep you in the loop on that. I'll let you know when I plan to present. There's not necessarily any public feedback during that time frame. I will be bringing the golf course for the rates and fees, just because that's where we're really focusing. So then Columbia Hospitality, as the professionals, can explain their reasoning and looking at why they chose the price structure, to present, for this next year. Probably more of the public hearings, if it does seem like we need some support or want some support, or if you'd like to provide support, that's probably the best time frame. Would be, for the public hearings, if you wanted to get up and.
You'll share that with us?
I'll definitely share that, yeah. Yeah, so between now and early October, this is really kind of the time frame that finance department is kind of compiling everything, starting to meet with the mayor this next week, I believe, and walking through, the anticipated budget before it goes to council for council to have a good look at it for a good month or so before, our presentations start in mid to late October. Yeah, that's all I got.
Money. That's all.
Oh,
about
I forgot to
money.
share
Oh.
this. Yeah, she probably don't want me to talk anymore.
Oh, yeah, that.
So was this in your packet? I can't remember.
You know, I don't.
If not, I can send it out to you. I may have not put it in there.
Yeah,
It may have just been this slide,
yes.
or maybe you didn't get it. You might not have gotten anything in the packet. But I'll get this to you. So this is our 6-year capital plan. Obviously, 2026 is what we're anticipating spending this year, and then 2027. Those are all the projects. We've got about almost $3 million worth of projects is what we're looking at. A lot of those are grant funded. So the first one, the 160,000, I think we've talked about that. That's the community development block grant funds. And so we'll be using that for, just some general improvements within the park system.
And that, excuse me if I can, that is Bremerton Community Development Project.
It's community development block grants that Bremerton partners with the county on. But it's Bremerton.
Well, Bremerton has its own
It's
fund.
Bremerton's
Bremerton
fund.
has its
Yeah.
own fund, and then
Yes.
there's
The county.
Bremerton/county.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so Bremerton. And then we have 30,000 in there for, kind of getting that master plan started for Forest Ridge Park. Some of these, like the 30,000 there, we don't necessarily have a matching grant right now or a grant for that, so that's coming out of our proposals for that to come out of, I think, Parks Capital, for that one. Lions Park accessibility retrofit, was kind of talked about that, and that's become quite a larger project than we thought it would be, and that's improving accessibility at those ports. And removing those slopes, but it's also gonna cause us to put new fencing up and basically level everything out there. Park security cameras, so between 27 and 28, we're looking at making improvements within our parks and adding security cameras. This isn't to monitor people, but this is in case something happens. So in the areas that we tend to have more vandalism, theft, we'll be putting some cameras in, is the plan there. The tree assessment implementation, you can see that's a budget every year. That's kind of if we need to have a master plan or a urban forestry type plan created for certain areas. We want to allot money within our general fund account to take care of those types of projects. The Pendergast Regional Park, turf fields, the 150 for this year, that's for the 90% drawings to be completed. The 2 million and the 2.3 million between 27 and 28 would be the development of those two turf field projects. And so the 2 million and 27 would be 500,000 from city funds, and then 1.5 million from a recreation conservation grant that we've applied for, and then the 2.3, actually the 2 million of the 2.3 would be coming from a private source as a partner for that project that we've been working with. And 300,000 will be coming from our general fund account to round off that 2.3. The 150,000 for softball field improvements, that's to remove and replace some of the infield material on our 3 ball fields up there. Get a much better user-friendly type of material in there that can also not hold in, but let drain through rain when it comes in, but it's just much better playing facility and non-rock generating surface as well. Stephenson Canyon, as you know, the 285 there from Department of Commerce grant. And then we just kind of have a standing item here for other parks, facilities, capital improvements. That's in case during the year we have something that needs to be addressed. We have a budget that's sitting out there within the general fund to fund those types of projects. Yeah, I'll be happy to get this to you, so then you've got it. I actually have a Excel spreadsheet that if you click on each of the number, it'll tell you what the funding sources are to that we've identified for that. And so that form has the expense, but then also has a revenue area as well. So it's easier to read that way.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah. Sure. I talked a lot today.
Anyone have any questions or comments? No? All right, now we're gonna move on to commissioners' comments. Dave, we'll start with you. You're right here. No, nothing?
Nothing. No.
You bet.
Director, I had a quick question. I'm not sure if it's been talked about at this commission or not. Could you tell us what's going on down on 9th Street where our mini park is? Cause it's destroyed.
At the mini park or just Ninth Street in
At the
general?
mini park.
Yeah. So this is all a public works project.
Okay, I feel like we did talk about this maybe.
Yeah, we looked at it last year.
Yeah.
At one point. I think even someone from Public Works came in and presented. And talked about it. It's essentially, making stormwater improvements within that area of Manette. And then, I can't remember if it's an outflow is what they call it, but essentially it's going through a system before it enters into the sound.
Okay.
And so with that, it's tearing up that park, and so there'll be improvements that are gonna be made. So we've got some trees that are gonna be removed because of issues we're having with root systems.
Yeah.
So they'll be replanting.
Okay,
If you're interested, I got the full plans in my office. But essentially what's going back is we'll have a accessible parking stall, 4 regular stalls adjacent to it. A doggy pot bag, a garbage can, and 2 picnic tables. The other thing that's gonna be a part of this improvement is going from the grass area down to the beach area is going to be more gradual and easier to access.
yeah, cause it was about.
It won't be fully
Right.
accessible, but
Yeah,
it'll be
okay.
much easier
Much better than it was.
to access.
Have you seen it? Cause we haven't been able to get down.
I
there to
just
see
drove
it.
by it before this meeting and it's.
You gotta swim from downtown.
Okay, I was gonna say,
It is, yeah, that big tree, I don't know what kind of tree it was, but it's there forever. I know the root system is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, and if you have seen anything posted lately on social media, the work that's being done right now on the beach area in Smith Cove is tied to that. This is the environmental remediation side of it.
Okay.
So there's removal of rock debris. Brian can speak to it a little bit further if he wants, but over the next couple of weeks, we
Yeah.
put a post out today to let people be aware of what's going on over
So
there.
it's a public works operation.
It's
It will-
a Department of Ecology grant,
Yeah.
and it's for stormwater improvement, and so, off of 9th Street, it's a water quality, it's being able to treat the water before it gets sent out into the sound.
Okay,
With that, there's some mitigation that needs to happen. Down in Smith Cove at, Evergreen Park, there's a lot of angular rock that was put there decades and decades ago that has kind of migrated down into the cove. As part of that, that same contractor that's on 9th Street is also doing the work, removing those rocks and pull them out. So there's a disturbance to both parks at the time.
yeah.
We're hoping to wrap up the Evergreen work, within about the next week and a half.
But then when it's all done, our park will be restored and.
Yes.
It's,
All right, thank you.
Conviction.
it's a public works project.
Got it.
To be
Yeah.
clear on that.
One other one that, once we get the design plans and work further, is we're working with the East Bremerton Rotary to make some improvements to Bachman Park as well. So they have already come out and done some cleanup work, but
East
the,
Bremerton Road.
yeah, East Bremerton
Was it
Rotary and
your
we
list?
power washed.
was Bach.
There's no expense to
Okay,
us for
okay,
that,
okay.
and so it's not listed as a capital improvement.
Thank you.
But there are items within the pros plan for Bachman that we hope to address at some point.
Perfect, thank you. I'm good.
All right, Alex,
Nothing for me?
you had a wonderful presentation.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah,
you
great job.
very-
Thank you.
That was
Thank you so
really.
much. All right, Joan,
Yeah, I've got
last
nothing.
but not least,
I've got nothing.
all right, I don't have anything either. So, meeting adjourned.
Well, Brett Riley usually leaves us with some words of wisdom or a poem or.
Nobody-
Joke or something.
Does he have
Nobody
a-
told me that was part of the deal, so you're just gonna have to go without this month.
That's my guy.
We'll make something up.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I
Yes.
appreciate it.
Thanks,
Yeah,
we'll
you all
see
have a nice evening.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, you guys all have a good